strokes. What a rally to close out that second game in favour of Pusala Venkata Sindhu. Extraordinary, wonderful.
First, pupils should be given the opportunity to control a balloon with their racket hand working alone. Then, as shown here, let them work in pairs to control the direction of the balloon using only their racket hand.
Ready, go!
Here you see 16 pupils on one court, running only a short distance and controlling the balloon with their racket hand. Distance and number of laps can be varied. Pupils with rackets use the V-grip to tap and control the balloon on the forehand side. Emphasize small follow-through for control and safety. Pupils with rackets use the thumb grip to tap and control the balloon on the backhand side. Emphasize small follow-through for control and safety. Pupils tap balloons with their racket, alternating between the two grips. Here you see changing after 3 shots from one grip to the other. This should gradually be reduced to 2 shots and then alternate shots.
Start.
One pupil leads trying to lose the chaser using quick change of direction with chassé movement. On the right of the picture, there are 2 chasers to accommodate an odd number.
Change, please. Start. Start.
This is a progressive exercise which is still a mirror chase, but this time the pupils have the added challenge of throwing and catching a beanbag or shuttle at the same time. The thrower becomes the leader. The distance between players can be varied to control the difficulty.
Start. Start.
Standing on one leg, pupils throw beanbags or shuttles to each other whilst maintaining their balance. Difficulty can be increased by throwing slightly to the side of partner.
Change legs. And start.
Here, pupils are challenged to take the biggest steps possible whilst balancing a shuttle on their head. This encourages good posture and lunge technique. It can be performed with racket leg only or alternate legs.
And start.
Pupils standing on one leg jump forwards, sideways, backwards, sideways and forward again to train jumping on one leg.
And change legs, please.
The progression is a game where the teacher shouts a direction, north, south, east or west, and the pupils hop in that direction, balance and hop back to a starting position. Working in groups facing away from the teacher or helper, pupils move on the spot with happy feet. When the teacher gives the signal, pupils start and move as quickly as possible in a selected direction. Here you see a tag game within a box which is marked by the cones. If the pupils are tagged, they must run 2 laps around the outside. They can then rejoin the game. Note, if the pupils leave the box, they must also run 2 laps to return to the game. There is a good example in this clip.
Move.
All pupils will know these games, but it is an effective, fun way to train reaction and balance.
Stop.
Performing the exercise with long steps helps develop lunge technique and balance for badminton.
Move. Stop. Move. Stop. Move. Move. Stop. Move. Stop. Move. Stop. Move. Stop. Move. Ready? Go!
Pupils work in teams, taking turns to run a distance of 20 metres there and back. When a player returns, he must roll a dice and write down the number shown. The next player must add his number after his return, and so on. The team that reaches 100 points first is the winner. A running course with different challenges can be used, and the target score can be changed.
Ready? Go!
A simple relay game where one player takes the shuttles out and the next player brings them back. The method of movement can be changed to develop different movements. For example, backhand running or chassé steps. Here we see 4 exercises for mobility and core stability. 1. Partners stand back to back and twist left and right to pass the shuttle. 2. Back to back and pass the shuttle between their legs and above their heads. 3. Lying on their backs and sit up to clap hands in front of their bodies. 4. Lying on their stomach and moving with their upper bodies to clap hands. Emphasize steady speed and maintaining good posture. Standing on one leg, pupils place the shuttle as far in front of themselves as possible and return to a standing position on one leg. Then, remaining on one leg, retrieve the shuttle and return to starting position. This is then repeated on the opposite leg. This is a good exercise for balance and general coordination. Pupils should be challenged to place the shuttle further away each time.
And change legs, please. Ready, go!
Here we see relay games which consist of running forwards and throwing, running backwards and throwing, chassising and throwing. Teachers can create their own relay games depending on the group's level, physical ability and available resources.
Ready, go!
In this exercise, we introduce specific core stability training. Pupils make 4 different plank exercises. 1. Plank on elbows and toes. 2. Reverse plank on underarms and heels. 3. Side plank on right side. 4. Side plank on left side. Ensure correct posture. The duration of the exercises depends on the age and level of physical development. Teams of 4 to 6 pupils play against each other on either side of a net. Each player holds one shuttle. On teacher's signal, everyone throws their shuttle as high and as far to the other side and tries to catch one of the other shuttles. When the teacher stops the game, the team with the least shuttles on its side of the court wins the game. Pupils work in pairs facing each other with racket leg forward and a low centre of gravity. One pupil is the attacker. They place the racket arm forward and try to touch their opponent's calf. The defender has to react quickly and copy the attacker's movement to avoid being touched.
And start.
Emphasis should be on the lunge and chassé movements. The exercise can be scored. Here, pupils are challenged to take the biggest steps possible whilst balancing a shuttle on their head. This encourages good posture and lunge technique. It can be performed with racket leg only or alternate legs. Pupils are challenged to throw the ball, firstly, as high as possible. Secondly, as far as possible. And then, with a combination of the two, with a target. Concentration should be on correct throwing technique. Players work in teams. One team starts with a shuttle and uses overhead throws to teammates. Each successful throw and catch scores a point. If the shuttle is dropped, possession passes to the other team. The opposing team is always trying to intercept the shuttle. The game is played in a defined area and can be played on time or points. This is group shadow work with teacher corrections. Pupils throw the shuttle forward using a scissor jump and move forward after landing to pick up their shuttle. Once the teacher is happy with the technique, 2 chassé steps are added. Concentrate on weight on the racket leg, kick through, landing on the non-racket foot and move forward. Working in half a court or any defined area, one pupil starts as a chaser with shuttle and tries to tag the other pupils by throwing the shuttle and touching them. Once tagged, pupils join the chaser. The pupil who is last to be tagged is the winner. Players work in pairs, facing each other on the length of the court. One player uses chassé steps to move to the back of the court and throws the shuttle forwards for distance using a scissor jump. The partner catches or picks up the shuttle and performs the same movement. Concentrate on side-on position, full shoulder turn, and high point of throwing. Pupils spread out in rows facing the teacher. Each exercise starts slowly to establish correct technique. On a signal from the teacher, pupils increase the speed to maximum whilst trying to maintain the movement pattern.
Start.
The 2 examples shown are jogging on the spot to sprint
Fast.
and split steps slow to fast. Other examples that could be used are cross steps or 2 steps forward and 2 steps backwards.
Fast. Stop.
Pupils work in groups. The first group start fast footwork. On the teacher's signal, the group execute an agility movement. For example, turn, one complete fast turn. Down, touch the floor with both hands. Or jump, jump with both hands up in the air. In between signals, the group continues footwork. On go, the group sprints to the opposite end of the hall and the next group starts.
And starts. Down. Jump. Jump. Turn. Down. And go. Jump. Turn. 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 Down. Turn. And go. Ready? Go!
Pupils stand facing each other 2 meters apart. On a signal from the teacher, players must drop their racket and rush to grab their partner's racket before it touches the ground. The distance can be increased to challenge the players.
Ready? Go!
During this shadow lunge activity, teachers should make corrections. Ensure the heel touches down first and the racket foot stays straight. Group shadow work with teacher corrections. Pupils stand sideways on a line with their weight on the racket foot. On a signal, pupils make a scissor jump and move forward after landing. Execute first without chasse backwards and then with 2 chasse steps before using the scissor jump. Concentrate on, weight on the racket leg, kick through, landing on the non-racket foot and movement forward. Group shadow work with teacher corrections. Pupils stand sideways on a line with their weight on the racket foot. On a signal, pupils make a scissor jump and move forward after landing. Execute first without chasse backwards and then with 2 chasse steps before using the scissor jump. Concentrate on, weight on the racket leg, kick through, landing on the non-racket foot and movement forward. The pupils work in pairs and practice shadowing the smash, giving corrections and feedback to each other. They progress by practicing with shuttles. Player 1 starts with a high service, and player 2 practices the smash. Player 1 lets the shuttle fall and repeats the routine. Concentrate on throwing technique, an interception point in front of the body, and hitting with a downward trajectory. The 4 pupils on court are numbered 1 to 4. The teacher calls a number. The pupil with this number moves to the smash position in the rear court, and his partner takes the net position to complete the attacking formation. The opponents move to a sides defensive position. The teacher then calls another number and players respond by adapting the appropriate formations. The exercise works well on several courts together, and pairs can be rotated on and off court.
Number 1. Number 4. Number 2. Number 3. Number 2. Number 1. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. Number 1.
This is a progression of the previous exercise using targets to test accuracy. This can be scored to become a competition. Working in pairs, one pupil feeds the shuttle close to the net. Their partner practices the backhand net shot. Progress the exercise by lunging forward with the racket foot when playing the shot. The shot is a gentle push over the net. Repeat the progression on the forehand side. In this exercise, the net can be lowered or removed for young beginners. More pupils can also be accommodated on the court. Correct lunge technique should be emphasised and feeders encouraged to concentrate by catching the shuttle. Start with backhand, then forehand, and then progress by alternating between forehand and backhand net shots. Pupils work in groups with one feeder. The feeder throws the shuttle to the forehand side. Player chassis to forehand and hits the shuttle using a basic V grip. After hitting the shuttle, the player returns to the back of the line ready for his next turn. The next player rotates on and the sequence is repeated. Targets can be added to challenge the pupils. Here, the feeder has a choice of which side to throw. The number of players can be increased depending on the group size. Note, players must wait until the feeder has thrown the shuttle to start their movement. Working in pairs, the feeder throws the shuttle for their partner to hit a backhand lift as far and high as possible towards the baseline. The feeder runs back to the baseline to catch the shuttle. Note, the feeder should not move until the shuttle is struck. Groups of 4 to 6 pupils start from the centre of the court. The teacher or helper throws shuttles and one by one the pupils move to the shuttle using start, chassé step and lunge, and then hit a backhand lift. Targets can be used to challenge and score points. Groups of 4 to 6 pupils start from the centre of the court. The teacher throws shuttles and one by one the pupils move to the shuttle by using start, chassé step and lunge. They make 2 lifts, starting on the forehand side, returning to the centre and then to the backhand side, and then return to the back of the line. The exercise can be performed with or without a net. Pupils work with a partner. One is feeding the shuttle from the side to their partner at shoulder height. Therefore, the player is hitting away from their partner. Feed from the forehand side for backhand drives and move to the other side for forehand drives. Start with backhand drives and progress to forehand drives. Note, for safety, the feeder must not stand in front of the hitter to throw. In groups of 3, player 1 on the same side of the net feeds the shuttle high for player 2 to hit a forehand clear with rotation. Player 3 on the other side of the net catches the shuttle and throws it back to player 1. Players rotate positions after 10 repetitions. For safety, the position of the thrower must be to the side of the hitter or behind the net. In groups of 3, player 1 on the same side of the net throws the shuttle high for player 2 to hit a forehand drop shot with rotation. Player 3 on the other side of the net catches the shuttle and throws it back to player 1 to repeat the exercise. Players rotate positions after 10 repetitions. The position of the thrower should be sideways to the hitter or behind the net. Concentrate on side-on position, a throwing action finishing with a push, and high point of interception. Pupils work in pairs using a throw feed to allow partner to practice a block defence to the front court from waist height and below. Start by practicing backhand and forehand block shots individually. Progress by practicing alternate forehand and backhand blocks. Change roles after 10 shots. Concentrate on grip and grip change, a starting position with the racket in front of the body, and short strokes which use the pace of the shuttle to return it. This is one example of a racket and shuttle relay. The difficulty can be increased by making the exercise more technically demanding. The focus, however, should remain on developing control of the shuttle with the racket. Children are asked to keep the shuttle in the air with the back of the hand leading and a thumb grip. The difficulty can be reduced by holding the racket higher up the shaft towards the T-piece with thumb and forefinger on the frame of the racket head. This is a simple exercise to practice backhand service technique. Targets and net can be added or adapted to gradually increase the difficulty. Note, when scoring is introduced, concentration should remain on technique and accuracy, not speed. This is a team competition to continue developing the backhand service technique in a fun and competitive situation. Emphasis should be on precision, not only on speed. Working in pairs, the feeder throws the shuttle for their partner to hit a forehand lift as far and as high as possible towards the baseline. The feeder runs back to the baseline to catch the shuttle. Note, the feeder should not move until the shuttle is struck. Pupils work in pairs to play rallies with forehand or backhand drives only. Partners work without a net 5 to 6 metres away from each other. The sidelines can be used. Start the rally with reduced speed, concentrating on correct execution and gradually increase the speed. Teachers should emphasise the ready position with the racket in front of the body and a tightening of the grip on impact to generate power. Groups of 4 to 6 pupils start from the centre of the court. The teacher or helper throws shuttles and one by one the pupils move to the shuttle using start, chassé steps and lunge and hit a forehand lift. Targets can be used to challenge and score points. Pupils practice the high service by playing the golf game. The objective is to hit the shuttle from the starting point into a target with as few shots as possible. The course can be adapted to suit the level of the group. Players should be encouraged to use the forehand high service technique for the long shots and the backhand service technique for the short shots. Pupils practice mid-court drives from sideline to sideline or a distance of 5 to 6 metres. Start with backhand serve. The challenge is to hit the opponent's body below head height to score a point. The objective is to increase racket speed by playing fast, flat rallies around the body. Players should stay within the defined area and not step backwards. This will reduce the speed of the rally. Rallies should be played below head height. This is a simple exercise to practice backhand service technique. Targets and net can be added or adapted to gradually increase the difficulty. Note, when scoring is introduced, concentration should remain on technique and accuracy, not speed. Pupils are playing rallies at the net. Note, it is easier to start the rally by throwing the shuttle into play. Pupils are playing rallies at the net. Note, it is easier to start the rally by throwing the shuttle into play. Here we see scored net rallies. Points are scored by winning the rally, with a bonus 2 points for winning with a net cord. This encourages concentration on accuracy. Where players have difficulty starting the rally, they should be advised to throw the shuttle into play. The court is the area between the net and the service line. To start, all players must stand outside the area. Player 1 starts with a low service or throw into the playing area. After that, both teams must hit alternatively. Progression. After each shot, the player must run to the rear court and touch the back doubles line, or a target with their racket. The court is the area between the net and the service line. To start, all players must stand outside the area. Player 1 starts with a low service or throw into the playing area. After that, both teams must hit alternatively. Progression. After each shot, the player must run to the rear court and touch the back doubles line, or a target with their racket. In pairs, pupils play rallies on the front court. When they are in good position and after a minimum of 2 net shots each, they can lift the shuttle, aiming to hit a target area in the rear court. If they hit the target area, they win a point. However, if they decide to lift and do not hit the target area, a point is taken off their score. Note, the rally ends when one of the players hits the lift. Working in pairs over a net, players are approximately 2.5 meters from the net. The objective is to hit the maximum number of shots in the time allowed. If they make a mistake, the score goes back to 0. The rally starts with a high lift to the rear court and continues with forehand clears. The objective is to hit as high and long as possible to the rear court. Partners should give feedback on length. Players can rotate onto the court after 10 clears. Emphasise side-on position, throwing action, and high point of interception. The rally starts with a high service to the rear court and continues with forehand clears. The objective is to hit as high and as long as possible to the rear court. Progress to challenging the players to be able to perform a trick in between clears. For example, change racket to non-racket hand and back, pass the racket behind the back, sit down and stand up, or touch the net in between the clears. Place a marker 5 big steps away from the net, or a distance relevant to the size and level of your group. Players have to try and hit the shuttle high and hard in the air. If the shuttle falls short of the marker, the other player wins a point. This game can be played in teams, 2 against 2 on half a court. Pupils take turns to hit the overhead clears and score points as a team. Progression. Pupils work in pairs playing rallies. How many overhead shots can they hit to each other without making a mistake? Pupils play half-court singles. The rally starts with a high service, followed by 2 clears. Players are then free to play any shot. The game is scored, and the players can rotate onto the court from both ends at the end of the game. The rally starts with a high service followed by a straight drop shot. The rally continues with one player lifting and the other practicing drop shots from the rear court. Change on time or number of shots. The exercise starts with a high service, followed by a drop shot, then net shot, and then a high lift again to repeat the sequence. Lift, drop, net, lift, drop, net. Note, the exercise is a cooperative exercise and not a competitive one. This is a progression from the lift-drop-net exercise, where players have the choice from both the net and the rear court positions to play either lift to the rear court or a drop to the net. Players now have to focus on their ready position to react to the shot selection of their partner. Markers are used to create a no-go area to indicate if a drop shot is too long or a clear is too short. Shuttles which land in this area score a point for the opponent. The game is played with a normal scoring system. Each rally starts with a service and continues with a choice of lift or drop from the front court and clear or drop shot from the rear court. In this exercise, one player practices the smash, the other one the block defense. Players practice on half a court using a fixed sequence of shots. Player 1 starts with high serve. Player 2 smashes. Player 1 plays a defensive block to the net, and Player 2 plays back to the net, and Player 1 lifts again. The sequence is repeated. In this exercise, players practice both attack and defence. The rally starts with a high service, followed by a smash and then a block defence. The sequence is then repeated, which means this is an exercise which alternates. Lift, smash, block, lift, smash, block. This is another variation of half-court singles, where pupils are encouraged to use their smash. The court is reduced by making the area in front of the short service line out. This enables players to get into position more regularly to attack. Winning a rally with a smash is rewarded with 2 points. In this variation of half-court singles, the objective is to encourage the players to play tactically and create space to win the point. No smashing is allowed. The rally starts with a high service and clears to push the opponents to the rear of the court and create space at the net. 2 points are awarded if the shuttle lands on the opponent's court without them touching it. In this variation of half-court singles, the players try to play with a change of speed. 2 points are awarded for a smash that touches the floor without being touched, or a winning shot which touches the floor either before the short service line or in the rear tram lines. Markers are used to create a no-go area to indicate if a drop shot is too long or a clear is too short. Shuttles which land in this area score a point for the opponent. The game is played with a normal scoring system. Each rally starts with a service and continues with a choice of lift or drop from the front court and clear or drop shot from the rear court. This game is played in teams of 3, although numbers can vary. Player 1 starts the rally and leaves the court to the side. Player 2 takes the next shot and leaves the court to the side. Player 3 comes in for the third shot and the sequence is repeated. Players can only enter the court from the baseline and leave the court from the side. For safety, give the teams the direction of rotation. Pupils are divided into mixed ability teams and compete against similar ability opponents, scoring points for their team. Pupils score a bonus 2 points each time they play a winning shot which touches the floor without their opponents touching it. Pupils wait behind the court and rotate on after each rally, a given time, or a defined score. This game is played on a limited half court. In front of the short service line and the rear tram lines are out. Therefore, rallies are played in the mid-court area only. The rallies start with a low or flick backhand serve to encourage flat play. The game is scored and can be played on time or score. A river system can be used where the winners move up the hall and the losers move down. This game is played 2 against 2, with the area in front of the short service line and the rear tram lines being deemed out. Therefore, rallies are played in the mid-court area only. Rallies start with low or flick backhand serves, and fast, flat play should be encouraged. The game can be played on time or score. Rallies start with low backhand service. The return should be a lift. The server therefore takes the net position and their partner smashes. The opponents adopt defensive positions and use block defense. The net player lifts and the formations change, thus following a lift, smash, block sequence. The progression is to play a normal set of doubles. The teacher here should reinforce correct positional play.
Siguldā šodien notiek Latvijas skolu komandu čempionāts, kur atbalsta adventure zonu. Tā ir galvenā balva, bet kamēr mums ir mazais pārtraukums, treneri, spēlētāji, arī skolotāji un vecāki var piedalīties servis konkursā. Mums ir Ilmavas grāmatas. Tā, man liekas, ļoti simboliska lieta, ka bērniem ir jācenšas trāpīt un uzvarēt tieši grāmatu. Bet pagaidām izsāst tikai viena grāmata ir uzvarēta, no 5. palikušas 3. Nezinu.
Vajadzēja to otru.